Hey, welcome to Waking Up to Win.
I'm Annie.
And I'm Chad.
And this is your space for real estate motivation, mindset, and the kind of coaching that pushes you from stuck to a top producer.
We are all about helping agents work on their business, not just run ragged in it.
And we believe there is more than enough room at the top for everyone to win. Let's dive in.
Hi, Annie. How are you today?
I'm great.
Yet another freaking great week, wasn't it? Great week to be a real estate agent.
Yes, it was.
Well, hit us with your affirmation. You got one today?
I do. I actually have
I need it because I'm in a mood.
And this one's going to be good for you.
Yeah?
And this is an actual affirmation, not just like a motivational quote.
What is an actual affirmation?
You tell me.
Why? Judge, do I have permission to treat this witness as hostile?
Absolutely not.
Asked and answered.
Okay.
What is the other sayings?
So,
what is an affirmation? Seriously, tell me what an affirmation is. Like, what distinguishes an affirmation? What makes it an affirmation?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up for you
Okay.
to give you the actual definition. You really want me to?
Yeah, I'm curious because I hear people say things all the time like that's an affirmation, but then they tell me
I would give you my opinion of what. Yeah, they're not.
I can
the
give you
same.
my opinion too. I was just wondering what your opinion was. Just if I asked the question in true Annie fashion, you would not share your opinion because there's a camera watching you.
It's true. I want to be accurate.
Annie doesn't give opinions when people are watching her, only privately in the thousands of text messages.
I don't agree with Chat GPT.
What is an affirmation?
An affirmation, when used by a speaker, is a positive statement or declaration intended to encourage, inspire, or instill confidence in the audience. It is often emphasizes the speaker's beliefs, desired outcomes, or values aimed to promote positive thinking and self-belief. Mm-hmm. That's what I believe it is.
Yeah. So it's like an I statement. That's like you say something to yourself to believe it into reality.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay.
That's what I thought it was too.
Okay. Are you done? My affirmation.
No, I think I'm just getting started, but go ahead.
Oh my gosh. My affirmation that I chose for this week is I am a patient and effective communicator, and I can navigate this situation with grace.
That is a good one. Not sure why you think it's going to be powerful for me, but
maybe you should recite it.
Okay, let me see it. I am a patient and effective communicator, and I can navigate this situation with grace.
You needed that a couple days this week.
I did?
You did in some negotiations.
So that's it. I thought I was patient and effective and navigated with grace.
I don't actually hear you in the negotiation.
Right, that's
and when
the problem.
you repeat the story later, I think, oh, dear God. I hope that's not what he actually said.
No, of course not.
Well, how am I supposed to know?
Well, because you've talked to me before.
Precisely my point. All right, let's move on.
You get the thoughts along with what I said.
I know, but then I have to determine, do I have to go back and clean up that mess?
Nope. I'm good. I can clean up my own messes.
What could possibly go wrong? So let's talk about a situation we had this week, but I would like to preface our affirmation for you.
You're going to preface it?
Preface it?
I don't think you're going to preface it. You're going to preface the situation with the affirmation?
No, I'm going to preface what you're allowed to say.
Well, you can't tell me what I'm allowed to say.
I know, and that's why this one's making me nervous.
Okay.
So I just want you to remember that we are effective communicators and we can navigate any situation with grace.
Of course.
Okay. So we had a challenging situation this week. And, but I think it's something that a lot of real estate agents deal with on a regular basis. And that's when you have a young professional client, first-time home buyer buying a house, and their mom and dad think they know more than the real estate agent does. And it can get really tricky and really hairy. So we had a deal this week that it was alive, it was dead, it was alive, it was dead. And it was all based on the parents not staying in their own lane. And I'm not even mad about it. And that was why I chose that affirmation for this week, because even in that situation, I think we all want what was best for the client. Of course, we want what's best for our client, and their parents want what's best for them. they just think that they maybe know more than we do, or they know what's best for their child. But this week that became a real situation where the child was just like, and I say child, this is an adult. I'm not
Right.
talking about a minor. I'm talking about a professional, educated
Young
adult.
man.
Absolutely. And yeah, the parents were just having a lot of issues with letting that young adult make their own decisions.
Yeah, I don't think that I don't know that they think they know more than us. I'm not sure that was it. It's
That they
that.
had that
I mean,
their
you went through this with your kids too when they went out. It's the not knowing how to handle letting your kid become an adult. Like that's a hard thing for parents to
it's
handle.
not even letting them become an adult, it's letting them make their own decisions.
Well, them
And
arguably become an
but
adult.
but I
That's what
I do
becoming an adult's
believe
about.
maybe. I mean, we could all define that differently, I guess, but there was a situation, and you had this on the in the conversation as you were negotiating a part of the contract where you thought you were talking to the client and you were really talking to everybody.
Yeah,
And
I
it
cannot
was,
stand that at all. Like that is just blah.
yeah.
Actually that made me angry, and I think rightfully so. You shouldn't get on the phone with somebody and act like you're the only person on the phone, and then all of a sudden there's two other people chiming into the conversation,
Okay,
which
that's a squirrel, and I agree with you.
of course was I didn't phase me. It was whatever, and I didn't say anything that I wouldn't have said in front of
Right.
them because they don't ever say anything and that I wouldn't say in
No,
front of
but
most people. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, and it was definitely what the parents were in the background going, poking and prodding and leading from
right,
behind.
which again is their prerogative.
Right.
So that was a squirrel for me. But you're right. When I answer the phone and there's somebody else in the car, I
Yeah,
say,
you freaking announced
"Hi."
that shit.
I say, "Hey, Chad's with me, so don't talk about him," or whoever it is, kind of like a joke. But I do, because when you're on a phone call, you should know who you're talking to.
Right.
So, um, anyway, I think the difficulty for us as real estate agents is handling that situation, is understanding that we also have your child's best interest. And I think that's where this one went south a little bit, because they felt at some point that only they had their client or their son's best interest. So,
Right. Well, yeah, and the mother called me and told me that, which I was like,
and this is where
and I understand that, that's why I made the point I made is I don't think that it's easy for parents to see that anybody else can have their child's best interest
right.
to the same level that the parent does. And I think that's what the problem was here, was that, the mom has the child's best interest in a motherly fashion.
Oh no, she mama bared you.
She absolutely did. I mean, it was classic when you when you hear the stories about like millennial parents and helicopter
Right.
momming, it was classic helicopter mom. Like called the principal because the principal wasn't doing their job
Right.
right. And it's like, you know, I don't have the same interest in mind as you do for your son, but I do have his best interest in purchasing this home in mind.
Right.
But I'm not his mom, and I can't,
Right.
or his dad, or any of those
Well,
things. And none of us are. But that's a hard thing for a parent, is to like sit there and watch your kid go through that and not be that advisor or that role. I mean, that's what you spent your whole life doing.
No, but
so it's hard to step back and let somebody else do that.
as we coach our agents, I think it's important for them to understand, you have to remember, you don't speak to the loudest voice in the room. You have to remember who your client is. You have to be empathetic and have conversations with the parents or whoever else may be involved in the
Right.
process. But at the end of the day, everybody needs to understand who we represent and who we work for. So,
Right. No, and I think that in that conversation, that's in my head how I handled it. Now it may not have come across that way, but I listened to her and I apologized for her feeling that way and assured her that I do have her son's best interests and I am in his corner. Um and I think, she didn't believe that at the moment, but that's all
yeah.
right. Because also, at the end of the day, when they're a young adult like that, the young adult is my client. So I also don't know whether the son wants his mom to know everything about the transaction or anything like that. So it's hard as a realtor sometimes in that.
Right.
And I think realtors forget that sometimes is
Absolutely.
that the details of the contract are the client's confidential information. And when your client is an adult, you telling a parent could be breaching your fiduciary
No,
duty, even though
as
they're
an agent,
a
you
parent.
need to have that conversation with your
Right.
client on the side. Okay,
Right. So
who
yeah.
else is going to be involved in
Right.
making your
Right.
decision? How much information do you want me to share? If they call, do you want me to pass that back to you? Like, you have to have that conversation with
Right.
your client, because we will have people call us and ask us about
No, and I think that's
somebody else's contract.
probably where I could have done better is I got off the phone with the mom, and then I sent the son a text message and said, "Hey, your mom just called me. Um, you know, uh, she was wanting details. Is it okay if I share details with her first of all, because it's your contract and your decision?" And he said yes, and then so I said, "Okay, perfect." And then I was going to call her back later and share what she wanted to know in the conversation. Of course, I never got that chance because then it went a different way. But um,
Do you want to share?
well, you stepped in and called the mom yourself and all of that,
Yeah.
which is fine. So you kind of did that part for me. And then, but then the son said, "I don't want the house anymore." Like that was his reaction to the mom calling. And so it was like,
Yeah, this is one of those things that I don't think that a lot of people understand as a real estate agent. We don't just show houses.
oh God, no.
I don't think that people always understand that as a real estate agent, sometimes we go down different paths, or we dabble in things that aren't just
Yeah,
about the contract.
we do more than just show houses.
I called the mom and I was empathetic and I said, I totally understand where you're coming from, but I do want you to understand, we do have your child's best interest. And I gave my own personal story of my son's first house is not a house I would have bought. It's not my husband did not want him to buy the house, but that was the house my son wanted. And, at some point they do have to make their own, adult decisions. Nobody was going to die.
Right.
And so, in that conversation, she really wanted him to have the house too.
Yeah. And to your point, it is hard to remember when it's emotionally charged like that. Like you're just flying the nest and, all that with the mama bear stuff, that it's at the end of the day, it's just a house.
Sure.
And just like your son, who was right 3 years later, mom and dad were right.
Yeah, no.
And we sold the house. It's not the end of the world.
But his perspective was he also sold it when he was ready to sell it and made $100,000
Right.
profit. So it was,
It worked out.
yeah, nobody died.
Right.
So there's that.
Yeah. So just everybody calm down.
Don't ever tell me to calm down though, because that does the opposite.
Well, no.
Your behavior and your conversation has to bring the calm.
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah. And we're under contract. He's back.
He is.
Buying the house he wants to buy, and I think everybody's happy. So.
I am not so sure about the dad, but yes. I think they will be by the time it's all said and done. That's the important part. So that's part of the job, right?
Right.
What is going on in real estate? Did you see the big news about Compass
I did.
last week?
I most certainly did.
That's not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
What was it?
They've acquired Anywhere Realty. I don't know that
Anywhere.
they're Anywhere. Yeah.
That's the name of the conglomerate. Anywhere. They bought Anywhere, which is a brokerage that it's a real estate conglomerate. I guess that's the right word, right? Conglomerate.
Sure. They own several brands.
They own several brands. In our local market here in O'Fallon and St. Louis, Coldwell Banker is the biggest of those brands that they owned. But they own Coldwell Banker, Sotheby's, Better Homes and Gardens, Century 21.
Which we don't have here.
Yeah, and
We have the
then
first three.
several smaller brokerages too that are like niche. But Compass purchased them
They
for
certainly
$1.6 billion. It's hard to even imagine that amount of money. But they did it. And nobody told the agents at these brands that they were doing that.
Right.
It just kind of popped up out of nowhere. And it makes them the largest brokerage by agent count and volume count in the world
Yeah.
by a landslide.
So what do you think is the fear for the rest of us as we watch this unfold?
What's the fear for the rest of us? Nothing. I think it's I'm
Well, what
curious.
maybe not the fear,
The
but what do we think their
curiosity is
intention is?
why are they
Uh-huh.
doing it, right? Now I don't know that it's a fear of mine, but yeah.
And I think the majority of us have the same belief as to why.
Yeah, I think they're doing it so that they can gain control over the listings, privatizing listings, which is
Right.
Compass's big
Right.
push and what them and Zillow, we talked about that last week. They're still battling in court about whether Zillow has the right to withhold listings from its own app. And then, um, so I think that's probably why. Yeah. Which they got a little bit closer
Of course.
by
I,
doing
I
that.
still just want to scream, how is this in
Well, it's
the best
not.
interest of the public?
It's not. And at the end of the day, that's where, Refkin, I listen to him talk all the time, and he's just like one of them guys where you're like, I don't
Careful.
trust you as far as I can throw you. But,
I'm going to go back to our affirmation.
but I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's good for the consumer. I don't think it's good for the market. I don't think it's going to produce the best results. So I don't think it's going to be successful because at the end of the day, that's usually what the determining factor is. The whole reason they don't like Zillow is because Zillow plays in the market well, like they do. They
But
put out a
it's so
good
much bigger
product
than
that
just
people
Zillow.
want. It is bigger than Zillow.
I mean, it's not going to just affect Zillow.
But I don't think that Refkin, and the funny thing is that like Compass says that. So the CEO of Anywhere a month ago was saying the opposite of what Refkin says.
Absolutely.
So now you also have this conglomerate of massive snail-like organizations. I mean, these people move at a snail's pace because they're massive corporations.
Right?
And they have stockholders and shareholders and boards, and every single one of them has a different board. So, like, to get these people to change the organization is like going to be difficult, first of all. So I don't even know
gonna move
that
even
Compass,
slower.
in Zillow is one organization. They're going to be a lot more nimble than Compass. The MLS, which is what they're kind of like toying with, I don't know that they want to get rid of the MLS. Because I do think that like if you really go down their 3-part, because I've heard a lot of people say that.
I don't think that's it either.
Yeah, if you go down their like 3-part thing, they need the MLS to be able to syndicate the listings if they can't sell them internally. And then even the second part is advertising to other MLS participants.
Right.
So when people say they're trying to kill the MLS, I'm like, yeah, I really don't see that.
I can only see it from my own perspective and how it affects me. And I just keep going back to why. And when I think about how
greed is the answer to that.
Of course it is. It's also their business model. I think as things get tighter and commissions get squeezed, that's a piece of their pie.
Well,
so they're trying to control it so that they can double dip on a lot of deals. But how do you sit across the table from your client and say, listen, it's not really my marketing strategy, it's my business model. Because it's really about me. This is me being Compass.
What you hear, right?
And then it's like, okay, so instead of putting your house, your business on a highway with a billboard and visibility, we're going to take you down to this little corner alley and we're going to put a little sign in the yard and we're going to see if we can sell it. And then if we can't, we're going to get you a bigger sign. And then if we can't, we're going to move you to Main Street. Like what seller is going to say, yes, that's what I want.
I don't think that's what they're telling people, though.
Well,
they're just
I know,
doing it, which they did not learn anything from this massive lawsuit we just went through. And so, like,
But what am I missing? I'm missing something.
You're
because
not.
How do you sit across the table from someone? And
Greed. They go to sleep at night. How does a murderer go to sleep at night?
But they have
like,
so many realtors who want to stay working for them. How do you
I don't think
sleep?
the realtors. Well, so that was something that I saw the other day when I was reading some of these news articles and stuff like this. So it's a very small percentage of their total business that actually follows through that 3-way.
Well,
so
I know, but that's why they just. But that's
is,
why they wanted to take over this other company because.
No, but those other companies don't have that baked in. So, like, that's my point. Is like this move. I think in his head was going to be, oh, we're going to be able to push the market so much faster. And I'm like,
Yes.
you're not going to do that, because what's going to happen when you go to these brands that don't have that mindset and that culture, you're going to start changing the culture of Coldwell Banker. Well, Coldwell Banker agents like Coldwell Banker's culture. And if you go and change that and start pushing them to this 3-tiered approach, they're not going to like the fact that you bought, and they're going to leave.
Are you thinking that they're going to let them keep their individual?
Well, that's what they're saying.
Yeah,
I don't think it's
never
going to happen.
happen.
But that's my point. My overarching point is that I don't think it's going to be successful. So like when you say everybody's worried about it and they conglomerate, they're the biggest whatever, mark my words, crystal ball. I don't have one, so who knows? But the company will shrink over the next several years as a conglomerate.
I believe it will. In the end, it will fail, but I believe they will have a lot of, what is the word, collateral damage.
Oh, yeah.
There will be a lot of real estate agents that will leave the industry. There will be a lot of people who are going to have a detrimental impact to their business because of the greed of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to be a louder voice here.
Well, and you could not call for a starker difference between Compass and us, Realty
Right.
One Group. And Realty One Group, I mean, again, we're up there in the top 10 real estate brands as far as volume, agent count, size, those types of things. But it's a totally different vibe. Like, we're independently owned and operated, been independently owned and operated since day one.
Right? We don't
It's
answer
a
to
core
Wall
value of the owners not to go public. So
Right.
it's never going to happen. I mean, like, I shouldn't say never, but the odds are it's never going to happen. We all have a say in the way the company runs. Like, they listen
Well,
because it's a core value
yeah.
of theirs. But
I think
and we're more nimble, and that's the big thing, and recession proof because of the way that it
Sure.
is. And that was a point that you made a second ago was, I think it's a move of desperation,
For sure.
personally.
Absolutely. You
So
can't beat 'em,
Compass is struggling
acquire
because
them.
right, you can't beat them, acquire them, but not even that. I think that all of the companies that they acquired, quite frankly, are all struggling right now. Coldwell Banker reduced agent count over the last few years. Better Homes and Gardens, shrinking presence, at least
Yeah.
in our
And
market.
what do they have in common?
They're all split brokerages,
Uh-huh,
and that's
exactly.
yes, that is the point that
Well,
yeah.
my opinion on that is it's also the reason that they're doing that switch because commissions are being compressed.
Mhm. Well,
And
the market's being compressed.
that's
There's
how
not
they
as much
right.
sales.
But that's how they make their money.
Right.
You know how we make our money at Realty
right.
One
Flat
Group?
fee.
Because agent success is our success.
Well, and our success does not depend on the amount of commission an agent makes.
No, that's
really
my point.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. Right.
We're
Like,
going to
we
put
get
all
the
of our
same.
time and energy into our agents being successful because that's how we become successful.
Right.
We don't care. It is 100% their commission. They take that home,
Right.
not us.
Right.
So-
No, and then it is a big difference, and that is the real estate market in general. We don't notice this. We're insulated to it. It dawned on me the other day. I was having a conversation with somebody, and for the last 2.5 years, it's been the worst real estate markets in 3 decades. But we're experiencing growth.
Right.
Like, our agent count is up almost 150%. Our sales volume is up over 100% for the year. Like, so
Which is our last week's
insane
episode
when
was
I say
my
that.
point of like that market data is great,
Right.
but it doesn't impact
Well,
how
because
we
we're
do our
but
day-to-day business.
Right. Because we set out and we're disrupting. I mean, like, we're not trying to scrape and keep a hold of the old and any of that. We're leaning
No.
into the new market, and all of this stuff is going on in the market, which is compressing those old companies because that's the old business model. The old business model is a split business model.
Right.
And Keller Williams came along and they tried to cap it, but we could go down the rabbit hole on why that is, but it's a generational thing. It's the way that millennials started it, I think, and then Gen Z and Gen Y have followed suit. They perceive society very differently than your generation or your parents' generation did, Gen X and up. And so it's just the old way, and it's dying.
Right.
And these people are scrapping and arguing, and they're getting the news because it's dramatic and it's fun to watch. It's terrible that society thinks that, but it's fun to watch companies scrape for their lives. I kind of feel bad for them.
I don't.
It's like reality television show. Then you mix in too, like, Poor Zillow. I feel bad for Zillow, and I'd be interested we could probably do a whole episode on this. Maybe we'll talk about Zillow next week. They're still in there, but they've had a rough month.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for them either.
They're the whole Compass thing, and now the same lawyers that filed the class action lawsuit against the National Association have filed a class action lawsuit against Zillow because of their referral program. So if you're I don't remember what the word is that they call it, but yeah, they're accusing them of antitrust violations, and so it's just that whole the old behemoths are all scrapping right now because the market is so compressed. We're just over here having success. So if you're tired,
if you're tired of listening
to it, come on over here. Let's sell some real estate. Let's not worry about all of them, and let's just live our best lives because that's what we do.
That's right.
What the floop?
What the floop? Okay, so what the floop? I didn't even believe this one, but we had a fact checker.
We had a fact checker fact check it. Who was our fact checker, by
Aaron.
the way? Who's Aaron?
My bestest friend.
She's our bestest friend. She's also our new executive operations coordinator.
She's standing over there, and I'm looking at her.
She's producing the podcast.
So she sent me this one. A realtor was arrested after sending a lead 159,000 messages after showing a property.
The front door.
I'm like, I don't even know. Do the math.
I'm going to do the math. How do you do that? How long did she message her?
It doesn't say that.
159,000 text messages.
But you just need some more clients or some more leads.
Divided by?
Okay, 100 a day.
100? You could send 100 text messages a day to the same person?
I couldn't.
What does that lady needs a life.
That's that
that's
angry. That looks like this.
That is, no, it's not even possible.
I know, that's what I thought.
The math is at 1,590 days it would take you. What is that?
Yeah, but you
messaged it for 4.3561643 years?
Hey, Aaron fact checked it. It's true.
I'm going to call into question Aaron's fact-checking skills. I'm not going to lie.
But still, what the heck? What's going on?
Well, I mean, it does take...
What are you, obsessed?
It does take follow-up. It
takes follow-up?
Yeah, I think OCD. I think that...
No, that's
there
rage.
might be some mental illness there.
Yeah.
If it's true. It can't be true.
That's when you ever have somebody text you and they only text you like 3 words and they keep hitting enter. So the whole conversation.
Oh my God.
It had to be that.
So annoying.
Call me. Why aren't you calling me? Hello? Question mark? Question mark?
I mean, it takes follow-up to a whole new level. That's all I've got. I mean, that sets the bar. I mean,
I'm thinking restraining order.
Yeah, we tell our agents you got to keep going until they tell you to quit. But 159,000, I don't think so.
I also want to know, why didn't they just block them?
True.
I've known you for 14 years, and I don't think you've sent me 159,000 texts in 14 years.
I know you've sent me that many.
Oh, I'm sure, because I like to text. I'm old. I like to call on the phone like a real person.
You don't think we've sent 140? I bet we've sent 150.
No.
Yeah, easy. How many times on average do we text each other?
I don't know. Yeah. Twice a day?
Okay, so 2 times 365 days a year. Times how many years have we known each other?
14.
16.
Okay. You're just making up a number to help your case.
That's still only 11,600.
I know. That's my point. I don't think it's possible.
It's not.
It's a lot of question marks.
We need to remove fact checking from Aaron's job title.
She's got a lot of skills, though.
I know she does. She's amazing. I fucking love her. But anyways, that is ridiculous. But you should follow up until they tell you to quit.
Just there's a line.
Well, you should do it nicely. What was the affirmation that we used?
Oh, man.
Effective communication.
No.
Grace.
I am patient.
Those were words in it.
Patient. There you go. That person needs this affirmation because that's not patience.
Patience and grace, 2 of my best skills.
Completing the 5th.
Good idea. Bye. See you next week.
See you next week.
All right, that's a wrap on another week of chaos, closings, and questionable decisions.
If this episode made you laugh, think, or text your real estate bestie like, girl, this is us, do us a favor.
Hit that subscribe button, leave a quick review, follow us on socials, or send us your own unhinged real estate stories. Seriously, we want to share them.
And hey, don't just survive this week. Get out there and build your business.
You've got everything it takes.
We'll be back next week with more chaos and more clarity.
Until then,
Keep waking up to win.